Lehman Brothers Holdings, Inc., a global financial services firm founded in 1850, collapsed in September 2008 in what would become one of the most significant events of the global financial crisis. The collapse of Lehman Brothers had far-reaching consequences that reverberated throughout the financial markets and the global economy. The roots of Lehman Brothers' collapse can be traced back to its aggressive expansion into the mortgage-backed securities market in the early 2000s. Like many other financial institutions at the time, Lehman Brothers was heavily involved in packaging and selling mortgage-backed securities, which were backed by subprime mortgages. These securities were considered high-risk investments, but Lehman Brothers, along with other Wall Street firms, underestimated the risks involved. As the housing market started to decline in 2007, the value of the mortgage-backed securities held by Lehman Brothers began to plummet. The firm faced significant losses as a result of its exposure to these toxic assets. Despite efforts to raise capital and shore up its balance sheet, Lehman Brothers was unable to convince investors of its financial stability. In September 2008, faced with mounting losses and a severe liquidity crisis, Lehman Brothers filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The collapse of Lehman Brothers sent shockwaves throughout the financial markets, leading to a crisis of confidence in the banking sector. The interconnected nature of the global financial system meant that the collapse of Lehman Brothers had ripple effects that were felt around the world. The fallout from Lehman Brothers' collapse was swift and severe. Stock markets tumbled, credit markets froze, and financial institutions faced a crisis of confidence. Governments and central banks around the world were forced to step in with unprecedented measures to stabilize the financial system and prevent a complete meltdown of the global economy. In the aftermath of Lehman Brothers' collapse, policymakers and regulators implemented a series of reforms aimed at preventing a similar crisis in the future. The Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, passed in 2010, introduced stricter regulations on the financial industry and established new oversight mechanisms to reduce systemic risk. The collapse of Lehman Brothers serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of excessive risk-taking and the interconnectedness of the global financial system. It also highlighted the need for stronger regulatory oversight and risk management practices to prevent future financial crises. Despite the passage of time, the lessons learned from the collapse of Lehman Brothers continue to shape the way financial institutions operate and how regulators approach oversight of the industry. The legacy of Lehman Brothers' collapse serves as a cautionary tale of the consequences of unchecked greed and the importance of prudent risk management in the financial sector.